Found mainly in the Americas, Western Diamondback rattlesnakes are creatures that strike fear in even the bravest of souls. They're one of the most well-known reptiles in the American Southwest, along with venomous spiders, scorpions, and several species of venomous lizards, a majority of which have the potential to inflict serious, or in some cases, even lethal injury to humans. The region additionally hosts a variety of large predators, including mountain lions, black bears, and coyotes, all of which, of course, can also pose a danger to humans under the right circumstances. The risks associated with the wildlife in this region were demonstrated in 2018 when Jeremy Sutcliffe, a resident of Corpus Christi, Texas, was helping his wife with some yard work when he'd stumbled upon a 4-foot-long rattlesnake, an encounter that would change the course of his life forever. According to the World Health Organization, an estimated 5.4 million snake bites occur worldwide each year, with up to 2.7 million resulting in envenomation. Of these cases, approximately 138,000 result in death and around 400,000 in permanent disability. And comparatively, while the 7,000 to 8,000 annually reported snake bites in the US may seem like a high number, it most certainly of course pales in comparison to the global statistics, and not to mention highlights the need for greater attention to be paid to snakebite management and prevention, especially in more affected regions. On what started out as a peaceful day on May 14th of 2018, young and happily married Texas couple Jeremy and Jennifer Sutcliffe were doing some yard work ahead of a family barbecue set for later that afternoon. However, their peaceful day was just minutes into it disrupted when Jennifer would stumble upon a large Western Diamondback rattlesnake in the couple's garden, and this rattler measured over a meter in length. The snake quickly got in striking position, its tail rattling with aggression, prompting Jennifer to immediately start screaming for help. Her husband Jeremy, who was used to dealing with non-venomous rat snakes, meanwhile rushes to her aid with a shovel, hoping he could just scoop it out of harm's way. As Jennifer finds herself trapped between the wall of the house and a thicket of shrubs, unable to move with the rattlesnake once again in striking distance, she remains motionless, knowing that one wrong move could result in potentially lethal consequences. After a few seconds of what felt like an eternity, Jeremy finally arrives at the scene and approaches the snake with his shovel, which is when he attempts to scoop it up. He would, however, quickly realize that its large size made this task much easier said than done. After several failed attempts, a frustrated Jeremy would then resort to a much more drastic measure and swings the edge of the shovel down with force, decapitating the snake. Relieved that the snake was neutralized, a shaken-up Jennifer, after witnessing this, goes inside to calm down while Jeremy sorted out how he was going to dispose of the body. Concerned that their dogs might mess with it, Jeremy then impulsively decides to remove the over a meter-long rattler by hand, unaware of the still very present dangers of doing so. Just as he bent down to pick up the head of the snake is when the unthinkable would happen, as the snake instinctually jumped in the air, managing to sink its fangs into his hand, and faster than the blink of an eye, it would rapidly inject what was likely its entire venom sac into his fingers. It's important to note that even after decapitation, a rattlesnake's head can still continue to function due to a reflex mechanism controlled by the brainstem. This reflex can be triggered by any perceived threat or stimulation, making it a significant danger to humans who mistakenly believe that a decapitated snake can pose one no harm. Jennifer, in a panic, knowing the situation was serious, immediately dialed 911 as she rushed her husband to the local hospital by car. It is during this time that Jeremy begins seizing and passing out as the swollen and blistered bite site continued to worsen by the minute. It was at about a quarter way to the hospital that Jeremy barely manages to communicate through severely slurred speech that he can no longer see. Jennifer was forced to pull over and ask the 911 operator that she was on the phone with to promptly send an ambulance to their location. Fortunately, the medics arrived within just minutes, and Jeremy is then airlifted to a hospital via helicopter, where his life would hang in the balance. The venom of rattlesnakes can cause varying effects on the human body, with the Western Diamondback being particularly potent due to its mixture of enzymes and toxins, which include myotoxins, hemotoxins, as well as neurotoxins. These toxins can cause significant damage to the body, such as damage to muscles and tissue in the bite area, internal bleeding, as well as affect the nervous system. Immediate symptoms can include weakness, numbness, tingling, and a rapid heartbeat, with severe cases potentially leading to paralysis, respiratory failure, and even death. After a brief examination, doctors informed Jennifer that Jeremy was in critical condition and that there was a chance that this bite could prove fatal. And this was despite him having received a significant amount of a powerful antivenom known as crofab. For Western Diamondback rattlesnake bites, antivenom can help neutralize the venom and reduce the severity of symptoms, improving the chances of recovery. A few hours later, Jeremy's kidneys would begin to give in to the shock of the venom, requiring immediate dialysis and various antibiotics to keep him alive. He was then dosed with 26 doses of the expensive antidote to help combat the superdose of venom that he'd received. Shortly after the incident took place, his story would go viral, leaving many in disbelief at the idea of a bee-headed snake still being able to bite. Meanwhile, Jeremy continued to fight, unable to stand and requiring significant medical attention. The cost of the antivenom and medical expenses already tallying about $60,000 US. The Sutcliffes would resort to starting a GoFundMe campaign in order to help cover the expenses, highlighting even more the unfortunate reality of healthcare costs in the US. Jennifer then gets word from the doctors that 2 of Jeremy's fingers are so badly damaged that amputation was necessary. Jeremy, despite this news, would remain optimistic upon hearing it and consider this a small sacrifice compared to what was potentially a fatal outcome, and so would continue to battle through a grueling recovery process with everything that he had in him. It wasn't until after about a month that Jeremy's determination would finally pay off, as his kidneys would begin to function again, providing the doctors and his family with hope for his recovery. And a couple of weeks later, by late June, he would be released from the hospital and return to their dream home in Progress, which is when the Sutcliffes were finally able to enjoy their aforementioned long-awaited family barbecue. According to experts, taking precautions is crucial to avoiding snake bites. In fact, a study published in the Wilderness and Environmental Medicine Journal found that wearing long pants and boots reduced the risk of snake bites by up to 85%. Additionally, the use of a flashlight at night can also significantly reduce the risk of stepping on a snake. Avoiding areas where snakes may be hiding, such as tall grass or piles of leaves, is also important. As David Seberg, president of the American College of Emergency Physicians, explained, rattlesnakes like to hide in places like rock piles, wood piles, and tall grass, so you must be careful when you're walking around in these areas. You have to keep your eyes peeled for snakes and make sure you give them plenty of space if you do see one. Jeremy's near-fatal encounter also serves till this day as a stark reminder of the importance of leaving dead snakes alone and ensuring to call for professional help in order to remove them from your property. Snakes are an important part of the ecosystem, and they help keep rodent populations in check. By staying aware of your surroundings and taking appropriate precautions, it's possible to minimize the risk of snakebite and enjoy the beauty and wonders of the natural world while preserving these important species as well as ourselves. If this episode piqued your interest, then our previous episode about a gruesome great white shark attack that was captured on film during a documentary shoot is likely to do the same. You can find it on the end screen of this video.